yourself. We're about to hit this drop. It's going to be a jump for it. At the end of it. I'm going to drop in a corner real quick.
Normally it's just the way it is. Yeah, going. Right, fight it with everything they have. You have with you.
Alright, so this is that old rotten tree that's in the way of this jump at the bottom here. At first it looks like it's living, but then I checked in on it and I found the very bottom part here, and it is totally rotten at the bottom. So it's just guilt-free to just cut the whole thing out. So it's gonna be another battle with this, even though it's rotten. What you want to do with something like this is, so something like this you can get down to the bottom of it, break apart any of the little pieces that are still holding on in there. This is rotten, so it's a lot easier to get down in here. Okay, and then you find, instead of making a whole bunch of cuts that you don't have to, you can just find something like this. You find where it's connected. You just find that main one. Get that. I gotta put the phone down.
Alright, so I'm just gonna clear this off a little bit. It shouldn't even be too bad. Just throw some sticks off to the side. Lift this little fern up here. Oh yeah, see what I'm saying? Oh yeah. This fern's not letting me see what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna mess with it. No reason to take it out or anything. Get up in there. See what I'm saying about the rake? Rakenstein's gonna need a upgrade or something. I'm gonna have to wrap more wire and more tape. Sometimes you think you're all done with the spot and got what it has, but if you chip at it a little more like the loose stuff falls out. And actually, it's another pile, you can just scoop it right in there. You can use the same technique on flat ground too. If you scoop some up, as you're working on the trail, you scoop some up and get it in here like this. Tap down that edge, and then you can just scoop it on in. And I mean, either way, you gotta do work to move dirt, you know, but this really seems to me like the easiest way to move a lot really quick with the least amount of effort. I mean, just easy all around, nothing heavy to carry in. Sometimes you have to bend down to get it like this, but usually you get it from a hillside, so it just falls right in.
All the connectors of this rotten piece. So if I just explode and attack it, maybe I can just kind of get it up out of the way and be done with it. So lift with your legs, right? I don't know, this big old monster here is still kind of in the way. If I can move this over just a little bit more, it's going to be so much better. Alright. Hopefully it doesn't come tumbling back down. Same thing up here. It's still part of the berm, but everything that I already have up here is pull it on down where it moves the easiest. And that's where I need it anyway. You can actually see my landing, my real landing. It's super chunky in here, and it seems like it's just going to get more and more rocky as I dig down into it. When you have a spot like that that's just, seems like it's just going to be more and more rocky as you go down, you have to get to a point where you decide that's it. And you kind of just take what you can get. I don't want to have a landing that's rocky, but if I kind of get it to a point where it's just the smooth rocks that lay down into the soil, and there's nothing that's going to catch the tire crooked or knock me crooked or cause any trouble on the landing, then that'll be okay. If the rig floats over it, then the bike will roll over it, but some of these, they come up even with the flat side, so that means they're just going to be rollers floating on the top all the time, just getting in the way. Yeah, it's like I said before, this landing is going to take the most kind of TLC of the whole trail because needs to be the smoothest. The jump face, the jump approach, the jump face, and the landing in here need to be pretty smooth. This coming along. See that? It's going. Getting a little bit of an edge built up here for the berm. And then I'm going to work with this root right here. because it holds a nice high spot right there. So that's going to be the high part of the trail, and it lines up perfectly with the jump face, you see. So well, I mean, either way, there's going to be two options from there, I guess. It won't be too hard to either kind of just steer the bars a little bit to the right, stay up on the high line, or maybe this will be the faster line coming down here like I planned originally, close to the log. Yeah, actually that's going to be better. I mean, things like that, you kind of just have to work out once you start to ride it, but actually I think I like the faster line, so it's going to be faster to go wider and stay by the log. Come at this. That also lines it up a little better without having to really turn at all. Just slow down. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Look at the progress.
So sometimes it's just like that. And your goal is to get your whole entire trail, for the most part, down to the soft stuff that you can work the shape around. Some areas are going to be a little more rocky than others, so you might want to skip over those areas or go a little lighter on those areas, be less tricky. But your main goal is to get to a point where you have good workable dirt all the way down your trail. Because then what you can do is just bring it all the way down. You can start making passes all the way down your trail and bring the dirt to every single part of it as you go. Every time you do that, it opens it up, it works it in a little bit more. I'm going to focus on the shape of this double now. I want this to be like a little mini kicker. There's not a lot of speed coming in, but I still want it to give a good lift. So I'm going to want to make this one a little bit steeper and as tall as I can. I'm going to just start out by raking everything up the base to the top. And then kind of just evening out all sides. A lot of big rocks in this one. Starting to clear out that good meaty line in the middle. So it's getting to a point where now I can bring some of this stuff back over. Off the main line anywhere. It's not in the way. into it now. It's gonna be a nice one too. I didn't have to do too much work to it.
Alright, so check it out. Just took a few minutes. And now this top one is coming into shape here. There's usually a rock or something, or a root, or a stick or something that's usually right in the middle of the jump face, messing up the whole thing. So if you dig down good enough to get to those lumpy parts and you can pull out whatever's causing that, then everything will just smooth out and be easier to pack down and shape up from there. So this spot here has all this tangled stuff still in the way. So now I have it opened up enough that I can actually pull this dirt down. And I'll be able to just continue to pull it all the way down. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to pass up on this area because I'm just going to pull all those rocks back down where I just cleared out. But I kind of, and I'm going to leave that soft stuff on the back side of the jump too, because I'll use that to build it up right there. But I'll kind of go past the jump a little bit and just start to pull stuff down. And then that's continuing to clear it out and make it a trail. And as you start to make progress on your trail, you know more and more for certain what's going to be your path. So you can start to groom up your trail. Because you know that's not going to be any wasted work. You don't want to make a trail that you're not going to use. And speaking of that scouting trail that I made in my first video, I'm thinking that will be fine for just an easy little push-up trail, if nothing else. And I probably won't even do much more work to it. I'll probably just leave it as kind of like a cleared out deer trail, just so I have an easier way that I can come back up with the bike. But I don't think I'll get in and mess with that one too much, because there's really not a whole lot to work with on that one. And pretty focused on this big one here. And that's what you have to do. Sometimes you get into a spot and maybe you find multiple things you want to work with, or you're not sure what to work with, so you just really have to focus your effort onto your one line so you can put all your time into that and get it done the fastest. Because if you kind of spread yourself out trying to work on a lot of different things all at once, you won't get it done in time and you'll spend more time digging than riding. So you don't want to get stuck doing that. So the goal is to get this done as quick as possible. Throw in a quick line here, just fast enough so there's something to ride. So it's been raining a lot, so everything's really soft, which is always an advantage. I'm gonna bypass this rocky spot too, because I don't want to pull all those tumblers down where I'm trying to go. I already have enough of them in the way here, so. This is the point where you start to take more time on each part of your trail. And you just kind of work along on whatever seems like it's good to work on at the time. It's usually best to kind of start at the top every time you come out and just work your way down, fine-tuning everything the best you can for that trip. So that way every time you pass by something, you work on it a little bit. And then that's the way you can work on everything every time you come out. And you won't have one part of the trail that's completely done, but then the whole rest of it still isn't rideable. By the time you're done with one area, you'll be pretty close to done with all the areas that way. So it's the most efficient way to just get it done.
So if I keep going, I'll have to time lapse it for sake of the length of the video, but that was just 4 loads, just that fast in what, 10 minutes, 4 bagfuls, and look at that. If I didn't break that out and I wanted to jump, that's already like at least a foot of height that I put on there, but it might even be enough to finish the landing right there. Let's see what I got here. It's going to kind of fill into that frame in the middle, these two, which is fine because it doesn't need to be super wide anyway. And I'll throw stuff on the sides later. And I'll just finish right off the top. So be careful because that's going to try to come up and pull it right off.
See all that? Almost got it buried already. Just from 4 dirt bags. So that's enough to definitely finish off that cover layer, and then I can come and top dress it later on. But pretty quick way to move dirt for sure. And I'm not even tired. So I need to make the most of what I put on there. So to keep height on a jump or a landing, stand on the backside and pull it up the face. That's how you add height and you make sure you don't lose any height. Pull it up to the face just about the point where it almost spills off. And you go real easy all the way up to the edge. And you can kind of extend it a little bit that way. But you'll get to a point where it's going to fall and you don't want it to all be spilling off. So that's right about the edge right there. And then you kind of pack it in there. Pack it in there and it starts to stay in place. It's going to need a little bit of dirt on its backside to kind of help to hold things in here. I can spare a little bit down here. That'll all get rained on and help hold it in. Now let's take whatever I can get from the bottom. Bring it up here to the top. Give everything that nice, even shape. Keep it as wide as possible. I might need to build up the bottom edges of it a little bit. Maybe kind of like whichever edge is closest to where I'm actually landing. The lineup's pretty good. Pretty straight coming onto it. But as I start to actually use it, I might find that maybe I come at more of an angle than I expected. So I might find out that I maybe need to build up one side or the other, build out one side or the other, make it a little bit wider to catch wherever I'm actually going to land, but I think it's pretty close. That I can kind of aim for it, and then as I start to find where's that fast line to kind of push it out to the edge, I'll just build up that edge a little bit, you know.
So it's looking pretty good for now. Definitely coming along. It's ready to get packed down by this rain that's coming in right now. It's supposed to pour tonight, so this might be like rock hard in the morning.
Okay, so that's how that part's looking now. Nice little double now.
Alright, welcome back. It's looking good out here. It rained a ton over the past couple days. Definitely got everything all packed down. I can see the shape I'm working with here. So this is the point of the trail where you're ready to start making each area the very best that it can be. I'm just gonna continue to work on this jump at the top here. gonna start by getting those rocks out of the way. A few more things to cut here. I'm messing with my raking. To twisted up roots like this, it's better to pull on them first and see how much will come up. And the whole thing might come out. And then you don't even have to cut it. It's better if you can always pull the whole thing out, not leave a spike in the ground. I think I can do that now. A lot of rocks in this one. So I'm just going to pull them to the side. Hopefully I can get to a point where there's not as many. I'm going to put some of that soft stuff back in there. Pull some of the rocks and sticks out of it. Sometimes you can't really see what you need to do until you get in and start shaping it. Now if there's some soft stuff to work with on the top, I can actually see what kind of shape I can get out of it. That one there in the way of the jump, but I'm going to leave the bottom of it because it's what's holding this corner together right here. I'm just going to trim away the spike off the top. And the roots I'm going to leave in there. That way I won't pull apart my whole jump. Same with this one. I'll just cut it off as close to the ground as I can and then just bury it. So that's kind of the idea when you're at this stage, is you're just kind of trying to rake until you get the chunky stuff out of the way. If you have anything that's messing with your raking, you have to cut it out of the way. And just continue like that until you get a shape you can work with. Sometimes it's easier to just toss the rocks out of the way. You won't need to clear all the rocks off the whole trail, but on the jump face and the landings and some of the other parts, it's kind of more important to get in there and do a little more of the detailed work. That's the point where I'm going to leave it for now and go back up here. See what I can do, smoothing out this transition in here. That's super chunky in there. for a fight. Just in a few more minutes. That's looking pretty good.
Alright, check it out. It's going. So in this stage of the trail, you're just looking to kind of perfect your features and then working on the connecting areas in between. Thinking about how can you have the best run in and the best run out, and how does it connect to the next part of the trail. Transition here. Weird lumpy spiky shit going on in there. You see? Yeah, pulling it this way. Not too much more stuff coming up. Back very well. We're right here. Yeah, one more time. Still a couple chompers in there. That's definitely getting it narrowed down to just the little rollers.
Progress again.
So just like always, you're keeping in mind how to make the most of your dirt and how you can get what you need from nearby. So it's getting kind of hard packed and rocky, and a whole lot of loose stuff is coming up off the front, but look at this back gold right here. So it's some good stuff that falls over onto the back. And so what you can do is just kind of pull it up and then just kind of move it around and work the stuff out of the way before you get it up over the edge. And stuff should just fall down the hill. It's on this steep backside. And you can just continue until you have a nice row of that soft stuff coming up. And then kind of like for a gentler touch, you can, and then for a softer touch, you can use your foot to kind of feel for the chunks in there. Just kind of move it sideways with the edge of your foot like that, and the stuff will come out. You just continue like that until you can slide your foot across. And you don't have any big chunks that come up and mess with it. And that is starting to be the very first layer of that final edge. That's just about the shape that it's going to have. And I want it to keep. See, it's going to work the best and it's going to hold its shape because it's wedged in against the root here. So this was kind of where the natural jump already was. So I just had to extend it a little bit. And if you just kind of keep a flat hand or a flat foot like that, and just kind of go along that top layer, and let the stuff kind of come up and roll up under your hand or your foot, then you can get it out of the way. And you don't take all your dirt away with it. And you get the shape you want. I'm doing pretty happy with that top shape there. It's been pretty good. So then once you start to have the top of the lip really shaped up and you can really see how it's looking, then you can start to make the rest of the jump match it with that smooth transition like I was talking about on the other video. So you shape it, have that smoothest shape from where the ground meets the jump. You just want to blend that in. And this is the time when more of these chunkers are going to be coming up. And they're ones you actually do need to get out of the way if they're messing with the shape. But I don't want to keep digging down too deep or I'll end up with a hole in front of the jump. So I think that I'm going to probably just top dress this to kind of finish it off. Because if I keep digging down, the ground's going to lose the shape I want. And I'm just going to end up fighting rocks. So when you have good ground to work with that's nice and smooth and it smooths out into something without too much trouble, that's good. But sometimes in front of jumps, where you have to be a little more detailed about it, you might have to use some top dressing, kind of change the height of certain parts of the ground a little bit to make it even, so that it's an actual safe shape, consistent shape that you can go off of and do the same thing for you every time, So I'll need to fill this in a little bit, but that won't be a problem. With the dirt bag, that'll be a cakewalk. that I need to fix up this part a little bit because that's what lines up good. So this is kind of a weird shape. Oh, alright. It's like a little puzzle piece that comes right out. Oh, okay, this one too. Okay, since those just came right out like that, this is a case where I can just use what's here, just kind of repurpose it a little bit. Those weren't quite at the right angle, but now they are. I move them around a little bit. Kind of work around and see what's best. Make form in pretty easy. Break them up a little bit. Oh yeah. Actually, this one's kind of a little bit bumpy. I'll let the other side's more flat. Perfect. So I'll just kind of dig a little trench for it. And then it's going to go in its new little happy home right there. And kind of see which way the puzzle goes together here. Oh, there we go. Nice.
I think now I get these to kind of just wedge in place where they're going to last still. I need to let fill a bit in here because I won't be having holes in there. But I can fill that in. There we go. There we go. Alright, so there's a better look at what I did there. You see, I started working on it and I came up with those big pieces. Instead of pulling them and chucking them away, they became part of the jump face. So you see, just kind of turned them so they're the flattest they can be, pounded them down into shape. So now I'm going to bury that, and that's going to be my nice solid jump that's going to hold up. So again, you can just always repurpose things and use what you have around. You have everything you need to make your trail. Just gotta think about it.
So I have it a little easier with this jump here. I'm not gonna have to dirt bag it. I'll just open this up and then move everything over. Check it out, the birth of another jump. Coming into its prime. See how that face is evened out now? I gotta work on it a little bit more right in here. By keeping this spot here evened out, filling that in, makes it easier for me to make my shape on this part where I'm actually going to be hitting it the most. But it's coming along really good.